Hey everybody, Mia here, and sorry about the bad camera. Anyways, happy National Coming Out Day. So as a, I guess, as a lesbian and whatnot, since it is Coming Out Day, I decided that I'd share with you guys my coming out story. I didn't do it. I was outed, but I didn't come out. So, figuring out that I was gay was something that, it wasn't so much that I didn't know it, it's just that I was in denial my whole life because I was raised where that kind of stuff wasn't normalized, it was frowned upon, and my arm's already getting tired. And so what ended up happening was I already knew when I was really young that I liked other girls, and I really didn't have an interest in boys. My mom had seen patterns of it, but my family just thought I'd find the right guy, everything would be alright. And I guess it was around the time that I was in high school, it was my sophomore year, I had actually gotten myself a girlfriend, and it was an online relationship. And this online relationship basically gave me a confidence boost. None of my parents were on social media at the time. MySpace was a huge thing, because it was like 2005-ish? 2006? So MySpace was huge, and so since I was dating a girl and since I had all this confidence, I ended up making my MySpace background bi pride, because for some odd reason I thought to myself, I may not be gay because I still haven't decided if I've found the right guy, blah 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 blah. So I just put bi pride. I had a bi pride background, I had bi pride flags everywhere, like everything was pink, blue, and purple. Even when I wrote in my diary, I wrote it in pink, blue, and purple. It was just cringy, it was terrible, right? But I felt safe because that MySpace, social media, was my private place, because my parents and none of my relatives had any of that stuff, so I didn't have to worry about being outed or them asking questions because it was my own personal thing. So long story short, I guess my father ended up getting a MySpace, and I had no idea because my dad has always been about getting the new social media. He's huge with marketing, so it shouldn't have surprised me that as a parent that often looked at all my things, even my internet history, my dad would eventually figure out that my sister was into MySpace and I was on MySpace, so he would get MySpace. I didn't realize that my profile wasn't private, I guess, is the problem, and so one day I was at my sister's softball game. I was working the concession stand, and my father asked me, well, I was watching my sister practice, and my dad said, I have a question for you. And for some odd reason, when he said, I have a question for you, I instantly knew what he was talking about. Like, it gut punched me, and I knew he was talking about the bi pride thing. And so I said nonchalantly, I said, you're asking if I'm bi. And he said, yes. And I told him, yes, I am. And then it started this big fight. Like, he was just like, well, you don't know that. How can you know? You haven't even had a serious relationship with a guy. He said that, he was like, well, Karen, who's my stepmom, said that you won't know until this happens, and you're just going through a phase. And it wasn't that he was telling me not to do it, he was just saying that I didn't know what I wanted. And, thinking back on it, he's right to an extent. When you're in high school, you think you know everything, and you think you know everything about yourself, but here I am, 26 years old, and I'm still discovering things about myself. So the fact that I was like, you don't know, I know everything about myself, I was right that I liked girls. However, I was not bi, and I had no idea who I was, what I was gonna be, whatever. Because you're still a child, even when you're in high school. So that was a big dose of reality that I later found out. But anyways, so that was my coming out to my dad. My dad actually found out after my mom, however, and my mom, I guess you could say I kind of came out to my mom. I wouldn't consider it coming out, but whatever. It was more like a mental breakdown, which led to a confession. But I don't know if I'd consider that coming out. Anyways, so again, sophomore year, I was not dating anybody yet. I didn't have this girlfriend yet, so nothing was bi pride smothered. Nothing was colorful yet. Anyways, so I was in Earth Space Science class, and there was this girl sitting behind me that I ended up becoming friends with, and I thought that she had the most gorgeous voice, singing voice, I had ever heard in my life. I didn't understand my feelings for her, and I knew that she already liked girls because she was in my choir class and I had seen her previous girlfriend. Her and I start talking, and she starts kind of leaning on my shoulder, so to say, about her relationship problems, how her and this girl aren't working out. We become really good friends, and this was about the time that I started to figure out that I had a crush on a girl. It was not her at the time. It wasn't her, it was another girl who at the time was my best friend. She didn't really agree with the whole gay thing, so I was utterly terrified of her finding out that I had developed said crush on her. So this girl sitting behind me in class, I confessed to her that I had feelings for my best friend, and she sympathized with me because she understood what it was like having these feelings for a straight woman. And so she was just kind of like mentoring me, you know, telling me what I could do, how I could go about things. So one day, you know, her and this girl, they break up, whatever. They've been broken up for like a couple days. And I go into class and she looks miserable. And I'm like, hey, you know, what's wrong? And she ends up telling me that she likes somebody, that she has found herself in a very similar situation to mine, where she likes somebody and she's worried that if she tells them, they won't like her anymore, and it'll ruin the friendship that they have, and, you know, she really cares about this person and she doesn't want to lose them, but she can't hide her feelings either. She can't hide it forever, and so she doesn't know what to do. She's panicking. You know, so I do what I think is the right thing, and I tell her, like, hey, you know, if this person's your friend, they'll stay your friend, you know, because even though you have feelings, it doesn't mean that they have to return them, but they can still be your friend. And if they're not willing to be your friend because you were honest, then you don't need them in your life anyways. And she ends up saying that she has a crush on me. And it was one of those moments like, what? And then the bell rings, you know, after class, and she takes off, and I run after her, and I end up grabbing her hand, and I was panicking, and I just looked at her and I said, I like you too. Because I did. I mean, I did like her. She was really nice, and, you know, I thought she was pretty, and I loved her voice. And, so she just said, that's great. And then she ran off. And I thought, oh shit. Now what? Because, you know, back in my day, you know, when two people said that they liked each other, that kind of just meant that you guys were gonna date, and or you were already dating. So I didn't know if we were dating, I didn't know if she was gonna ask me out, I didn't know where things went from here. I remember running to my German class, I ran into my friend McLaren, and she was like, you are pale, what is going on? And I just said, I think I got myself a girlfriend. And she was like, yay! Because she was bi. And me, I wasn't out at the time, so I was just like, what do I do? What's going on? I go home that night, and instead of being happy, I run up to my parents' room, well, my mom and my stepdad's room. My stepdad was at work, my mom was cooking dinner, and I ran upstairs. That was like my first go-to. I was like, nope, running upstairs, even though I have no reason to be up there. And my mom, like, knew something was up, so she followed suit. And I burst into tears. Like, I just ran up there, I grabbed a bunch of Kleenex, and I just started bawling my eyes out. Pure terror. And my mom, you know, asked me, she came up and she was like, what is your problem? Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, Mom, what if I like girls? Like, I was just sobbing. I was like, what if I like girls? And she said, oh honey, I love you anyways, but you're not like that, so it's okay. So she instantly dismissed the fact that I just said, what if I like girls? And she said she'd love me anyways, but I wasn't like that, so we were cool. And I'm like, that's kind of like an oxymoron. Like, you would accept me, but you're already saying I'm not like that when I just said I might be like that? Oh, it was insane. Like, and And this is before the MySpace thing, and then so, eh. And later on, I ended up getting a girlfriend, and my mom just kind of, we never spoke about it. She told me not to tell my stepdad, because he wasn't really accepting of it at the time. So she's like, if you are gay, just don't tell your stepdad. You know, keep it a secret. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then my dad, he just kind of said, you're not like that. And it was never brought up again, even though I ended up having girlfriends. So they kind of just, over time, thought to themselves, oh shit, it's not a phase, and they kind of just accepted it, I suppose. You know, like, they don't hate it now because I'm married to a woman and they love my wife, so, you know, it kind of worked out in the end. But oh man, it just makes me laugh to think about it, because, you know, a lot of people have a lot worse stories than mine. Like my wife's coming out story is terrible, and mine was just kind of like hilarious. You know, it was just random, it was hilarious, I don't know. But anyways, so that's my coming out story. So yeah, so happy National Coming Out Day. To all you that are still in the closet, hey, hang in there. It'll get better, it'll get better, it'll get easier. Just be you. You know, love is love. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes your heart happy. Don't try and be anything that you're not. And if there's people that don't accept you, they don't have to know. They don't have to know, and if they do find out, you'll find a way. You know, there's ways to persevere and to keep moving forward. So, but yeah, so if you have any other questions about coming out or whatever, or if you want to tell me your story, I'd love to hear them. Go ahead and put them in the comment section down below. Yeah, I guess thanks for watching this video. Sorry that it was random, but I thought it'd be great for the occasion. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. So, bye-bye. Say bye.